What's up guys, Omni here. You guys know how it goes, another day, another video. Last night I tweeted I sleep. What recent news, topic, tweets, videos you want me to talk about tomorrow? We have a lot to talk about. Holy freaking moly, dude. We got an update on the DJ Akademiks situation being weird with a 15-year-old kid. It looks like Mans is getting officially packed and canceled like Dunzo. I'll tell you all about that. We got an update on Destiny. A good friend of his, Abba, made a video addressing the allegations. We'll take a look at that together. Apparently Trump has been trumping a lot more than usual this week, along with all the executive orders he's been filing. There's something going on with him pausing student loans and federal grants. I think the federal judges are trying to stomp that. I'll let you guys know what's happening on that front. And yeah, there's a lot more, okay? Whatever I can't cover in today's video, I'll probably make some one-off videos going forward as well, coming into the week, okay? Give you guys just more videos, even if they're not long, super big, chunky wongies. Also, you know what I really want to talk about? I honestly want to do a deep dive on that one situation that's happening with, what's that person's name? Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. They're basically going back and forth, and I've been kind of like looking at little bits and pieces of it, but like it's tea. I've heard it's some pretty wild tea. Like I really feel like it might be one of those things where we do like a nice deep dive, start at the beginning and figure out what's going on with this internet celebrity drama going on with these two, because I heard it's getting pretty good. It involves Ryan Reynolds, and yeah, we might need to do that sometime this week, okay? Because I really want to know from the beginning to where we are now what the hell is happening. But first, we got to smoke a pack watch. That's right, DJ Akademiks is officially friggin' canceled, okay? And I don't mean like canceled in the word where it's like, Omni, come on, don't just throw that word around. No. Mans has officially been yoinked and removed from Twitch and is losing sponsorship money, okay? When a person does something and they start losing like their freaking way of living and life, that's when it's starting to get serious, okay? I didn't think it would actually get to this point, but it looks like the brands and the people, they're finally responding, and Ak is getting packed. If you guys didn't know, on Monday, we talked about this briefly about DJ Akademiks, okay? He was basically... he's being sued in the state of New Jersey, I believe. He's a commentator who talks about like the music industry. He has a lot of hate of him. He's one of Drake's biggest like nut writers, okay? Fortunately though, there was like a lot of talk about him having a case currently. A lot of people have come out and said that he is a creep. So he's a bit of a villain and a person that people bully in the community. But now people have an actual super strong reason to drag this man because of this clip that played with him interacting with this 15-year-old streamer named Noor. And in this clip, okay, I'm not going to play it for you guys again, but it's like 2 or 3 minutes of just straight up of highlights of him, this man being super inappropriate with this kid. It's absolutely disgusting. It's vile. It's nasty. It's like you do not talk to kids in this way, talking about them and their sexuality and them and having it's bad. It's really bad. If you saw the clips, then you know. If you haven't, go back and check the past video, but it was some wild sauce. Anyway, as of yesterday, DJ Akademiks has officially been banned from Twitch. So he streams, I believe he streams on Twitch, he streams on YouTube, and I believe he multicasts on like other platforms as well. But yeah, Twitch taking him out is a pretty big deal, and everybody was celebrating, almost like creating a holiday. Like DJ Akademiks getting packed was a straight up national holiday for Twitter. Anthony Fantano, my guy, said, and they better stick to the effing script so the lesson sticks in his dumbass head. Grown men have no business pressing minors about sex. Is disgusting and should never be forgotten what this man has been caught doing, which I 1000% 100% agree. Okay, like it's like one of those things where, like, you know how people get banned and unbanned for like doing stupid stuff like on Twitter, on like when they're streaming, you know, and it's like, all right bro, come on, you shouldn't have done that. But there's got to be a point. There's got to be a point where there's a one and done, where there's an ejecto, where there is a no freaking toleration policy, and that one is talking to kids in the way that he did. That cannot be something we normalize on the internet, okay? If one thing we can all agree on during this civil discourse is that we need to bring back bullying and shaming predators. That should never ever go away. This other tweet by Lovely saying DJ Akademiks has been banned from Twitch, and Happy Dad has cut ties with the sponsoring him as well, and Stake has also unfollowed him too. Stake, the gambling site, cut you off too as well, bro. Stake, they be allowing anything. Oh man. So I checked man's page, and yeah, he's still making content. Literally less than 17 hours ago, he said Central C can't rush greatness on pace, and drops his YouTube video. And oh my God, I want to look. at these quote retweets, you already know that he's getting cooked. Oh my God. You got the solo leveling dude. Turn the replies on. He said, turn them on. Turn the comments on, bro. What are you doing? What you afraid of? You posting on Twitter, you here, you in the space. Go ahead. Let's see what happens. They got your mans. They got your boys. He was your man too, and it's you this time, right? This is, oh man, my boy Lou Ratchet got absolutely ratioed by this guy that says, turn them replies on, nigga. Turn them on. Turn them on. See what happens. See what happens. One of you guys sent me this YouTube short. I hate navigating YouTube shorts because it's like hard to pause, whatever. But yeah, it's I guess his most recent last response to the accusations, to the allegations, to everything here. Okay, and this might be the last of act that you see in quite some time if YouTube decides to go forward with the ban as well.
Oh, chat. I mean, here's the thing. We want to make this very perfectly clear, okay? Number one, first and foremost, I'm moving past that moment. We addressed it. Dragging it, it's not doing anything for us, okay? Obviously, I'll say this, Twitch took some action because, you know, even though I wasn't streaming, that happened on their platform, completely get it. And, you know, we'll work with Twitch and make it right, okay? Until then, we've always multi-stream. We'll continue to multi-stream, whether it's on, of course, Rumble. We still stream on Meta, and of course, we still stream on YouTube, which honestly, about 80% of our viewership came from YouTube anyway. That'll continue. I see a bunch of pages kind of just saying random stuff, and I don't know if it's to elicit a response from me, but I could tell, you know, when the shark starts circling, you just don't want to keep dropping blood in the water.
You are the shark, dog. What are you talking about? You are the shark. Good Lord, bro. Like, you are the person that we are trying to protect this 15-year-old kid from. Like you are the bad guy here. Why is it that everyone else is sharks? Like coming at you like, rawr. Like, it's quite, this is the same energy that you would want anyone else to carry if some grown man was talking to your 15-year-old cousin. Okay, let's just be for real, right? If somebody you don't know was talking to your 15-year-old cousin the way that person was like that, you would be carrying this exact same energy, right? I get it. It's human self-preservation. My man's is trying to protect the back. He's got to say anything at all costs to gaslight his audience and make people downplay it. He's got to do it for self-preservation, because owning up to it, which he still, I don't feel like has done properly, is just not in his vocabulary. It's just not in what he does.
As far as anyone saying that, you know, like it's a hailstorm of fallout, that's not true. Happy Dad is still right here. Y'all make sure I go get the great version. That's my favorite version. Steak supports us on Twitter, supports our news Twitter account, which is the Akademiks TV account. They've done it before, and they continue to do it. There's nothing that changed there. Again, you guys have seen, again, some shit that happened on stream. Twitch, respect their platform, but also you got to respect their rules. And also, when they take enforcement action, you can't be mad. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of where we're at now. All right? Somebody said, what? Mod the stream? I don't know how to mod. Oh, I do know how to mod the stream. Again, we're not streaming on King Akademiks today. We're not streaming on King Akademiks today. And it's for no other reason. There's nothing going on over there. These clips will probably be over there. The reason why we're not streaming is that I kind of wanted to have like a lower key stream, because I feel like the shark are just circling. And, you know, when somebody wants to see you break, you know, the more you like jump out in their face, they're like, fuck, and they just get mad and madder. And also, you know, a bunch of match reporting, so we just chilling.
So, yeah, that's just a response. I don't know. I don't think I'm one of those sharks in the water. Again, I'm just kind of like, literally, like, I'm not preying on people's downfall or any kind of energy like that. It's just like, it's ludicrous to watch this guy just dodge accountability. Like, I think he made the situation worse by not just quite literally being like, whoa, you're right. I didn't pause. I should have pumped the brakes. That was bad. No, literally, like, he could have probably potentially salvaged something by immediately acknowledging how stupid that was and how bad it was and doesn't know what could have. would but didn't. And now the way that he's kind of carrying it is just more so like of a downplay and projecting and saying that everyone that's coming at him are sharks in the water. And like, it's like, bro, come on, bro. If you're going to be a shark in the water for any kind of person on the internet, it would be for you, for a dude who's out here talking to freaking kids like that. That's what that's for. Like, if we're going to allow this kind of energy, it would be for you. And I think if it wasn't you, you would probably agree with it, but it is you. So now you got to go into lockdown self-preservation mode. But yeah, guys, that's the DJ Akademiks situation in a nutshell. I'll let you guys know if there's any updates. I'll let you know if he's, right now he's safe on YouTube. He said he's still working with Stake. I'm sure people are not dropping this. They're going to try to take away his money. Because obviously what he did was absolutely terrible. So I'll let you guys know how that freaking plays out. Sorry, guys, we got to talk about this. We have an update on the Destiny situation. Okay, Tucky Meister saying ABBA publicly distanced himself from Destiny. I assume Preach feels the same as well. There is a sickness of the highest order. That's right. That's right. My gangs, ABBA and Preach, finally responding to Destiny, who was kind of like a bit of a friend on the show. I think the last time I've seen ABBA and Destiny interact was that whole clip where ABBA was like dancing with Destiny's ex-wife Melina. Like Destiny's just sitting there like, now this is a thing, and ABBA in the background like like but I think they've been on like some podcasts and they've talked. Okay, I'm joking about it, right? Because the entire internet has been bullying Destiny for that clip. But my guess is that was like, the cordial friendship amongst like, the friend group type thing. Right. Anyway, since then, it looks like ABBA has made a video. It's called Destiny Bridge Burning. It was less than 16 hours ago that says the end. And let's give it a watch. It's a 19-minute video. I haven't watched it because I wanted to watch it with you guys. Okay, if you guys don't know ABBA and Preach, they're the homies. I love these guys. I've been watching them for years and years, and very curious to see. I have a feeling that I know what ABBA's going to say because ABBA's pretty, consistent when it comes to his thoughts. Regardless, universally, he's a pretty consistent dude. So let's see what happens.
You guys can see the title. I stand behind it. It's not bait. It's not a joke. Destiny's getting canceled, all right? And the reason being this time is that he supposedly had an intimate relationship with some women. And what he would do is when he would film intimate moments with these ladies, record them, he would share some of these with other women he was approaching. In one case, he shared it with a 19-year-old e-girl who he had never met in his life, and he was flirting with her and shared videos of himself sleeping with another person without their consent. Essentially, the 19-year-old gets hacked, and that stuff goes public. The person who was in the videos finds out, loses her mind, files a lawsuit asking Destiny for a huge sum of money. And then, it comes out thereafter that Destiny apparently had also recorded a lot of other women while they were in his apartments without their consent. So this has kind of gotten bigger and bigger since. We're back. Me specifically. Where's Preach? Preach busy, you know what I mean? Out there doing gay shit with his wife. Me, I'm here for you guys right now.
Where's Preach? There he is.
I was up in Africa.
It's gonna be weird without having Preach sitting here for like the first 3 minutes of the video. Like this is usually how it goes. First 3 minutes, it's just ABBA letting everybody know what's happening. Preach don't look like he even want to be there, and then until he starts talking, and then you realize he has a lot to say about it. And I would love to hear what Preach has to say about this joint. He'd be like, no good, cannot, no, this is not acceptable, not acceptable. Now we're going to see what what ABBA has to say about this. This is a pretty big deal because it sucks, being ABBA, because like when somebody who is the homie, I've been in this situation as well, who was kind of like a homie, an internet accomplice in terms of just like people you've interacted with, gets put like in a terrible situation and you're like, oh God damn, bro, what was you doing? What was you doing? And now the people want to hear what I have to say. The people want to hear what you have to say. It's a really shitty situation to be in because you don't want to see that in the homies. Like if you guys at home have like a good friend or accomplice, it doesn't have to be a good friend. It could just be somebody that that people know that you occasionally hang out with. You're not trying to get Lou Ratchet You know, but like, that was your man. That was your homie. You don't want that to happen to you. Because it's just like, but at the same time, you can never really know what people are doing behind closed doors, right? So it sucks. It sucks for everyone involved, more specifically the victims, okay? The women who have been recorded without permission. That's the one who it sucks for the most at all. But also it just sucks on a level when you just find out that one of the people you thought was your homies was behind back doors doing some creep shit.
If you think I'm gonna take my time away from my people so I can go spend time on the internet to talk about white on white violence, you are bugging. And if you guys are wondering where Preach is, aside from doing gay shit with his wife, we both agreed that there's only one woman that each of us are going to defend in our lives. For him, it's his wife. For me, it's a streamer named Destiny, and we got to do our job. So this is my responsibility. I'm gonna handle her. Now, some of you guys know, Destiny is a friend of mine. Okay, and you might be confused why I decided to come out dripped out from my friend's cancellation. You know what I'm saying? Looking kind of fresh. And again, you fucking idiots! This is a fairly serious matter, and people wanted to hear my opinions. And I'll be honest with you, for all the bad things that are happening to Destiny, I don't feel bad. The reason why I don't feel bad, and this might surprise some of you because some of you don't know this, me and Destiny have spoken about his dating behavior for a very long time. We've talked about it on stream, off stream, and I've always been very vocal about the fact that I think he's very fucking dysfunctional with how he handles his dating life, with how he prioritizes pleasure over everything else. And I think the root of a lot of these issues in this whole situation is that he prioritizes his own selfish desires over other people's well-being, over what's good for his business and his career. And now it's costing him more. It cost him already some things in the past, and he's always been very much in denial about how it affects him negatively. And now it's costing him even more. And I'm, to this day, not entirely sure if he's ready to really acknowledge the impact it has on him.
So the thing though is like, here's the thing, right? When it comes to being selfish and self-desires and being a gooner, being a freak, to be completely freaking honest, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem here is the lack of respect. When that desire becomes greater than your respect for another human being, then that's when you start entering a territory where you probably shouldn't be in. There are plenty of people who are in the sex industry who are just super freaky, right? They just gooning, but they have this thing that they like to do. It's called consent, So they nasty, more nasty than freaking, and hey, I'm not king shamer or nothing, but they just out here, right? Having fun, pleasure and whatever, but they're doing this other thing called consent. And they're doing this thing where it's called not being sneaky and not recording people and not hurting people, right? So it's like, if you got a thing with hedonism, if you got a thing where you just like to have multiple partners and if you're not hurting other people in the process, right, then I don't think it's that thing in particular that's the problem. Because I think a lot of people can do what Destiny does without being problematic. The problem, in my opinion so far, from the allegations that's coming out is that, like I said before, recording people without their consent is some sick shit. It's sick. It's a sickness, okay? Of the highest order, bro. Like, for real. Like, you can do all of that stuff without taking that extra step. And I feel like that extra step is less about the activities that he's doing and more so the brain process that goes through Destiny's mind. There's something about him, I think, not respecting people's consent that could be the actual form of joy here, a little masochistic. A lot of it's not good. It's not good. But I just don't want to like dance around the object of him being like a sexual, or being poly, or I don't think that's the core issue. It can push into it, but I think it's more so a Destiny thing that's being revealed in this outlet, if that makes sense.
Do you think I'm self-destructive?
Yeah. If you engage in hedonism, I would say you're self-destructive. I say the same thing about Destiny. I think he can be self-destructive, and I don't think you would entirely disagree.
So
I completely disagree. I don't think I'm self-destructive at all.
Oh, hold up. I was actually curious. You don't think that to some degree your hedonism doesn't bite you in the ass?
Nope. I think I have a really good engagement with most of my hobbies. I think I do it pretty well. I think that my mental functioning is very high. I think my career is incredibly successful. There are parts parts of my life that I can improve, but I think that people look at some of the standard markers for trouble and they, for some reason, project a ton of stuff onto me, but I think I'm living like one of the healthiest, fullest lives that I possibly could be.
Constantly having poor relationships with women over a long period of time, or in other situations, STDs, different things like that. Eventually that hedonism comes back to bite them in the life, and they also recognize they could have been investing that time a lot better.
So wait, what do you ask us about this? Like, what was your idea of this?
Yeah, it's not like I have like 100 kids and 5 million STDs and like...
No, you just constantly... Okay, I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, you might as well, but no, you drop the accusation, go for it. You just constantly what? Say it. No, say it.
This, right?
No, shut up, Selena, shut up. Let him talk. What do you mean? Constantly what?
Hold.
Anything you do in life that's going to increase like your ability to like have fun or do like crazy stuff or whatever is always going to carry with it like the risk of death, right?
Absolutely.
Like you have no chance of dying by falling out of a plane unless you go skydiving, but that's not an argument. It's never skydiving.
But it is an argument against maybe skydiving 1,000 times if you don't want to die that way.
Well, if you want to skydive 1,000 times, then fucking skydive 1,000 times. Like, what's wrong? Damn, what happened to all the self-empowerment shit that you guys were talking about earlier?
I mean, it just...
I feel like this argument's fallen in his head because it's the act of skydiving literally puts you in like harm's way. Like going around practicing hedonism and doing it safely, you can do it in a way that does not harm you, right? Having healthy relationships with people, you can do that in a way that does not harm you. Like you can operate in a way where you can go outside and drive right now and die. Okay, you just can't. Okay, because driving and getting into car accidents is not something that you can avoid. So the act of driving is very, very dangerous. But the act of engaging in relationships and pleasure, doing it within the realms of safety, having rules, having consent, is way more safer than going out and driving out there and potentially getting hit. You know what I'm saying? So it's, again, when it comes to hedonism, I think it does tend to lead to people starting to make more sacrifices for pleasure, which would then start putting them in more danger. I do think that that is something that does occur for sure. But in this specific case that's happening right now with Destiny, I don't feel like it was the pleasure. I mean, I guess it could be because he might get pleasure out of recording people without their consent. Like that's just something that he might do. So for him to continue to have more pleasure, he likes to get more dark into the hedonism. And I can see that one being an argument. I don't like the idea of I don't like the idea of like being a gooner or like being in any of these fields, and that field itself attached to it is negative. Do you understand what I'm saying at home, guys? Like I'm trying to say like this is definitely a Destiny thing. And there are people who are a lot more thicker in the weeds into what Destiny does without being problematic at all. You know, like safe, secure, consent, the basic laws and rules of human decency being carried in these activities would lead you to probably not being here where he is right now.
It just depends on whether or not you want that outcome. If you're saying like, oh, I don't want this kind of destructive thing, or I don't want to end up dying by skydiving, then maybe don't skydive every other day.
Yeah, but I'm not complaining about that. You guys are. If your lifestyle choices are like, damn, I would never want to deal with like a crazy girl or anything like that, that's totally valid. I think it's totally fine. I accept that that's probably true for most people. But like, I'm okay with the trade-off on that for like all the benefits that I get. I like f***ing a lot of people. I like traveling a lot. I like doing drugs. I like my stream shit. That's like super fun for me. To be like, well, doesn't bad stuff happen sometimes so you shouldn't do it? That doesn't compute to me. Like, I feel like I'm living a super amazing life, and I feel like there's a lot of shit that happens all the time. I understand it might be a lot for some people, but it seems weird to be like, oh, well, I think that you're like secretly like hurting or damaged inside because of some negative outcomes. Like,
or to others, because I think the main thing with this is you have to think about the activity. The activity involves hurting others. Like even Destiny, as good as he is at what he does, probably can admit he's broken a lot of hearts. He's disappointed a lot of women. He's made a lot of people upset. It's not just how he feels about it. When you involve other people in this kind of pursuit of pleasure, other people get hurt as well. I'll stand by
that. Again, saying it's about literally hurting other people. That's the thing. If you do it in a way where it's respectful, it's healthy, and all parties involved, but when you start hurting people, bro, or people get hurt, and it happens often and over and over and over, you start making enemies and enemies and enemies and enemies, homie, and then it's not going to add up. And I agree. I agree with Abba 100% on the situation.
What I said at the beginning, I don't feel bad for Steven whatsoever because he knew what he was getting into. He was brazen about it. When he was warned, when he said, hey, this is a bad idea, this is a bad lifestyle, he said, I don't care. I want to have fun. It's fun for me. That's why I like these mentally ill women. That's why I like doing this stuff. That's why I can't keep my dick in my pants. It's because it's fun. Well, I'm like, all right, then. When it fucking inevitably blows up in your face, I'm not going to have no sympathy for you. You can be my friend, my worst enemy. I don't give a fuck. If you engage in behavior repeatedly after you're warned, fuck around and find out. And that's what Steven's doing. But I don't want to make it just sound like a happenstance, a hedonism that, no, some of this stuff is also just morally bad in regards to what he did with recording these women and all this other shit.
Yeah.
And if he gets sued for it and he loses money, then it is what it is too. You do the crime, you do the time, right? So no, all these people will be like, oh, Abba, stick by him, he's your friend. I already told y'all. If my friend goes out and murders a bunch of people, I don't give a fuck, send his ass to jail. And if my friend does some fuck shit like what Steven just did and he's going to lose a bunch of money, I'm not going to cry. All right. I would tell my friends and I would warn them beforehand, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You go and do it. Then, hey, man, that's your problem, bro. You didn't listen to me. You're not going to get my sympathy at this point. Nope. My sympathy is for when a tragedy happens, not when the inevitable does.
Yeah. Ooh. What did you say? I said my sympathy is when the tragedy happens, not when the inevitable. You know, I think a lot of you guys at home might be able to definitely empathize with that point. In life, there are people who around you that you can see are literally heading towards a freaking wall, right? They're going to crash. They're literally on a crash course collision with a train. And no matter how much you want to save them, no matter how much you want to, you cannot pick them up and take them off the freaking train and derail them so that they don't eventually crash, right? You cannot help people who do not want to be helped, especially if they don't even think the train coming at them is a big deal, or they think they'll survive the crash, or even worse, they want to get hit by the train, right? Unfortunately, there is only so much. There's the dichotomy of control, okay? What you can control and what you cannot control. And in this situation, you can do your best to influence your friends and the people around you to not get hit by that train. You can let them know what the tracks look like. You can show them the freaking map. You can say, hey, bro, I've seen this before. Here's some examples, and you can do all you can. But if somebody wants to just sit back for the ride and say, hey, thanks, but no thanks, I got this covered. And then the accident, and then that's it, right? It was foreseeable. He said it was inevitable. Abba was like, I think this is a path that's going to lead you into a bad place. Now you're in this bad place, and I'm not going to act all freaking surprised, Pikachu face, now that you're here, like, oh my God, my friend, no. I told you, bro. I tried to tell you, and I can't have any sympathy for you because I warned you. It'd be one thing if maybe you got caught off guard and I wish someone was in this corner giving him advice. No, you literally had someone in your corner giving you advice, trying to tell you to kind of temper yourself a little bit, bro. Watch out. Here, I'm seeing the signs, man. If you don't pay attention, if you don't care what I have to say, that's fine. If you want to do what you do, but I don't know. I think I get what I was saying. It still sucks. The tragedy is still there of the inevitability, but at the same time, you've already resigned yourself to this happening. So when it does occur, it's kind of like, I don't want to say I told you so, but I did, literally, not even trying to kind of poke fun at you. I did. I literally just told you so. Homie, what you want to do now? It's too late. It's happened.
Yeah, what you're hearing from me right now is disappointment and a bit of anger, but I'm angry at myself. What let me say? You know, if there's anything that this situation and that most of the people in these online spaces have taught me, is that these are not serious people. The problems are not serious. The way they engage with relationships is not serious. It's a lot of juvenile bullshit. You know, while I was on vacation, I was just hearing glimmers about this stuff. I'm just like, yo, turn that shit off. Because I'll be honest with you, if you touch grass and you hear this stuff, you're like, y'all some fucking losers. You realize this is a story about socially retarded people, mentally ill people, all engaging in sexual behaviors and and they're not ready for it. You know, but I also have to have some humility and admit that I've tethered myself to that world. I dipped my toes into it, and you know, having spent some time there, was it a bit entertaining? Sure, but it was entertaining like it was when you go to the zoo and you see a bunch of freak animals do a bunch of circus monkey tricks. And that's it. And now that it's gotten to the point where it's kind of spilling over into real life and you're realizing that these people behind closed doors are doing weird shit, it's time to take a step back and be like, okay, we've had our fun at the zoo. It's closing up. Time to head home. I'm not interested in being part of the act. I'm not interested in being in the enclosure. I'm not interested in befriending any of the other freak animals that they want to bring in. It's just a weird assortment of people, and it's so different than my real life. Like, why am I wasting time with this? Yeah,
I feel that too as well. Like we've been on the internet for as long as most of us here, right? There's people who, you know, surf the internet and they touch grass. Most of you guys at home are part of this category of watching this video, sipping some tea, but y'all are probably normies. Y'all are like, yeah, Omni, let me just what is going on with the BS around the world, bro? I just want to know what's going on. I just feel like being entertained. You might be at the gym, you might be eating dinner, you might be like in bed right now, kind of just chilling and just vibing because, you know, it feels good to kind of just like be in this energy, but you're not in the circus, right? You're just like, wow, what a crazy world. What a new 2025. What else does it have to explain, right? So you're on the internet, you're here, but you're not in the circus. And when I mean by like in the circus, it means that you have get lost in the sauce. You know the concept where they say tell people who have been like chronically online to go outside and touch grass? Okay, I know it seems like a meme. I know it seems like a, hey man, don't say that. But like literally, not figuratively, literally, do that. Disconnect, because some people's brains are so tied to the internet that they have forgotten like normal social interactions, like normal human behavior. They have lost empathy. They have lost the plot. They are lost in the circus sauce. And that's a dangerous place to be. It can be a fun place, you know, going around and just interact on the internet and being in that cyberspace. It can be pretty fun. It can be very eventful. It can be very lucrative as well. But also it can be very poisonous. It can be very toxic, man. The internet is both a amazing place and a scary place at the same time, bro. So in my opinion, if you have that kind of strong attachment to the internet and your brain starts to develop in ways that are just like not cognizant of like actual human beings, like going outside, stepping outside, having normal conversations, it becomes a mess. And I again, on par, agree with Abba. What he is saying about this stuff is like, he's got to probably cut it when he's seeing that people are getting way too lost in the sauce and it's starting to bleed into his own IRL.
This is not beneficial for my business. This is not beneficial for my personal life. I'm not learning anything about social interaction. So I have nothing to gain by being around this. And despite Destiny being my friend, there's a lot of things that I just don't agree with, that I don't want to be associated with. To keep a long story short, for those of you asking like, all right, well, Abba, what are you going to do going forward? This is a conversation I had with Steven already. I just told him I wouldn't show up on any of his stuff in the future. And I don't think that's that big of a deal, because at the end of the day, he's going to be doing mostly political stuff from now on. So it's probably for the best. But I just don't want to be associated with it. And there's a few different reasons. So I'm going to try to go with it. And I'll kind of just break down everything. But there's a couple things I got to get out the way. One, listen, I might be the only person in this orbit who hasn't fucked one of these women, including Destiny herself. I'm not friends with any of these people. I don't talk to them really offline. So I kind of just keep my distance. And that's generally true for me and most content creators. I don't. Yeah. So you don't see us doing too many collaborations. I don't hang out with these people. Yeah. This whole idea.
Same thing. I don't do too much. I'm more of a myself kind of dude as well. I'm actually grateful for it as well. But also, like, ever since one incident, okay, the bite of 1997. Okay, if you guys been around, you guys know long enough what that bite was for me. That's when I started realizing, like, whoa, I need to close my my friend group, my circle group. I need to go back. I need to start at level 1. And start finding like people. And now even up to this day, I quite literally have not added a lot of people to the roster. I still kind of stick to myself because you got to be so careful with the energy that you let in. All right. For multiple reasons. This is like one of those reasons. And I do feel like if you're the type of person who's like befriends everyone and trusts everyone and brings in everyone, and you try to get like a full Suikoden squad of just homies, like it sounds great. You know, it sounds like an anime. It sounds amazing. There are dangerous people that can enter your circle, and not only are they dangerous, but they will zap you. They will take your energy. They will harm you. They will hurt you. This isn't like a fear of you connecting with people, but more so that I think it's important to be very selective with who you choose to share your energy with. Very, very important, especially if you have your own emotional bandwidth that is like to a certain degree of how much you can give, because you might find yourself in a place where you're giving to all of these people nonstop and you have nothing left to give yourself. And then suddenly you realize you're in a place where your self-worth is coming from how much you're offer other people. I've seen this like a million times with people who have tons and tons and tons of friends, and they're just obligations for people nonstop, and they're just in no way able to pour back into themselves. They think that pouring into other people is their pouring into themselves. That's kind of what they've kind of put in their head, that attachment style. But it becomes very clear that becomes a neglect of self there. So this is just maybe just a side note, just me talking and rambling and yapping, because that's what we do on this damn show. But yeah, be careful, man. And just advice is to try to keep your circle smaller, and really try to, if you are going to bring people in, is to create quality relationships, people that you can connect with or connect deeper with, that you can be authentic with. That is, in my opinion, key, because otherwise if you're out here and you got all these people and everyone's got masks on, you're not making any connections and deeper and everything's platonic and surface level, I feel like you're just scratching the surface of the human action, the human interaction experience. Like, it's cool to have, like, just friends every now and then, but you gotta be careful with who you invite in, because some people are not allies. Some people are not your friend. And most people, not even intentionally not trying to be your friend, will still, they'll hit you. So you gotta be careful out here, bro.
That I wouldn't criticize Destiny. I mean, I think that's also nonsense. If you spend any time watching debates between me and him, we argue, we yell, we get very animated, we disagree strongly. And there's dozens of debates. So this idea that I wouldn't take a stand if I saw something I didn't like, I think people can't understand why I'd be friends with him, or they can't understand why I would agree with anything he says. And so the only thing in their head is like, okay, it must be friendship or whatever. I don't operate that way. If I disagree with you, Preach is my brother, and I disagree with him every day. So if you don't think I'm not going to disagree with Destiny, you bugging, okay? And there's a lot of content creators who, they thought we was cool, and I disagree with something they said, and now they don't want to talk no more. So the idea that I wouldn't, disagree with someone to avoid burning a bridge, no. I'll deal with anybody, because at the end of the day, I think what I actually believe is more important to me than maintaining these kinds of cordial relationships. I don't care about having access to these people. That includes Destiny and anybody else. Actually, one of the craziest parts about this whole...
I gotta say, that's a very healthy way to have relationships, by the way, is to to have your opinion, but not be so attached that based on what these people do or don't do, that you will now change yourself or change your own morals or your own views. Very healthy way to kind of live your life, in my opinion.
Story is the fact that Destiny trusted a 19-year-old Discord lady, named Rose is Coming, with sex tapes of other people in his life. Nigga, if that's not compromised judgment, I don't know what the fuck is, okay? I wouldn't trust a Discord member with my first name, and that shit's public information. He was giving other people sex tape. But if there's one thing that nobody would ever say about Destiny, is that he makes good personal life dating decisions, okay? There's a couple of things that bother me. That's like, and I've said this to Destiny too, like, this dude really has a penchant for going after mentally ill women, okay? Women with like severe depression, or just like these kind of like dainty, smart ass, fucking feeble looking, small white women. Like, that's his type. And a lot of them got like self-diagnosed BPD or some bullshit. Like, he just likes that. I don't know. To me, the fact that there's a pattern with a lot of these girls is a bit weird.
It's a thing, bro, right? Like, it's a fetish at this point. Like, you go, I see on Twitter, right? It'll be like the e-girl, right? Who has like ADHD and autism, right? And like, and it'll be like, yeah, that's my kind of girl, right? The freaking Nana girls, like the freaking Hello Kitty girls, the ones that have like, who are depressed and are anxiety and don't drink water and have headaches all the time. You're like, yeah. And it's like, almost at this point, it's almost like a type of group of girls that guys go after, and some actual girls like aspire to fit in. It's a category. I don't know how else to call it. I don't know if it's the girl, it's the Hello Kitty girl, but people, I don't know how to put it. It's like how there's a thing for everyone, right? And sometimes that thing could be toxic. It could be just a walking red flag. Like, when it comes to guys, there might be some guys who are just literally walking red flags, and you know that they're bad for you, and some woman be like, that's what I want. I'm looking for the train wreck. I'm looking for the smoke. You know how some people want healthy lives and they want healthy relationships, and they want to make sure, secure attachment styles. No, some people want to quite literally get lost in the toxic sauce of human interactions. Okay, they want that shit to be unhealthy. They want madness. They want stress. And it's like, for me at least, couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. I've been there. I've done that. I saw the appeal. I think a lot of people reach a point, usually they reach a point where they recognize the value of peace. Destiny might be recognizing that right now. And he might be being like, whoa, maybe Abba was right. Maybe I should have chose peace, because right now all I got is problem. I got 99 problems. And they all have to do with me. It's him. He is the freaking problem. But like, so it eventually gets to a place where you want to choose peace, but some people really like to find the problem. They want to F around and find out, because there's a thrill in that choosing of these girls. So it sounds like that's kind of like Destiny's type. He wants problem, no peace.
That's his type. And a lot of them got like self-diagnosed BPD or some bullshit. Like, he just likes that. I don't know. To me, the fact that there's a pattern with a lot of these girls is a bit weird. And when he's asked why he likes bringing on these self-destructive women in his streams and in his life, he says it's because it's fun. It's fun for him to bring on women who are probably going to, at some point negatively impact his life in a huge way. He knows it's going to be short-lived. He doesn't care because it's fun. That's a moral failing to me, okay? That shows to me that you don't really care about how you affect the other people in your life when these people become atomic bombs who affect everyone in the area. And it tells me that you don't really care that much about your career when you attack, again, who will fuck up things in your area. And this comes down to the thing about like, if everyone consents, it's fine. But it's not. If you know that the people you're going to be involved with are only short-term partners, and you constantly see the after effect of most of your hookups and your interactions leaving a trail of broken hearts and disappointed people, that's a moral failing. Sure, it's not illegal. It's not criminal. But I can still look at that behavior and like, you just spend time dating these women and it's just hurting all of them. You have no intentions of committing to most of them. This is all fun. It's nothing responsible. You're an irresponsible person.
So I think here, this is the part I disagree with that, right? I think that there can be people out here who go around having short-term relationships and then just and ending it. And it's actually not breaking hearts, right? It's about, like I said, consent, very important as well, but it's also about like how you approach the situation. If you guys are both in agreement and say, hey, look, I'm looking for a short-term thing. Hey, I'm looking for a short-term thing. Hey, I respect you, by the way. I want to let you know that this is going to be something that I might want to do just for a little bit, and then I might want to stop. And it doesn't have anything to do with you. It doesn't mean that you're less of a person. It doesn't mean that I like you less. It's just, I'm just a short-term person. And you can find yourself a person who's like, hey, I agree. Those are my values as well. So let's have this little short escapade. Let's have this little anime arc. And then once we're done, let's shake hands and be like, hey, that was a great arc in our life. We're going to move on to the next arc. I do think that is something that people can do. I don't think that's an impossible thing. I don't think it's not for everyone. There are some people who are looking for commitments long term, who are looking for families, who are looking for relationships. And I wouldn't push that down anyone's throats, right? If that's what you don't want to do, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I don't really care. But for the people who do like to go around and just enjoy as many people as possible, again, it comes down to communication and respect. I feel like that's where it's got to go. And if you can respect people and you can communicate with people and let them know what you're about, what your intentions are, and be authentic, then you can lead them in a path that doesn't have to always be disastrous, right? I think the problem that with Destiny's relationship seems to be that the disastrous relationship seems to be because there's a lot of deception. Like, there's not authenticity. Like, if people are getting their hearts broken, there's something going around down the line where as they're navigating, things are not going smoothly. And sure, it's a bumpy road, right? I would say with what he does, it's a bumpy road. So there are definitely going to be tires that get blown out for sure, more than usual. It's not a smooth one. But I do think that, especially if you're as experienced as Destiny, man, and if you, again, carry that basic philosophy of having human decency with people, then you can just have regular, decent relationships that begin and have an end and that are healthy. And you can look back and say, yes, that was a good person in my life. I appreciate what they contributed to me. And now I'm going to move forward, and maybe I'll find them back in the past soon. But like, I think that can happen. And it just did not happen with Destiny because, again, my man's is a little dark. It feels like he's just a little bit dark.
That reflects on your character. With this whole situation, I don't think Steven shared this because he thought it was okay to share. I personally believe, this is my theory, that he shared this because he just didn't care and he didn't think that the other person would ever find out. And that to me is almost worse. Because it shows that you don't care about the people you slept with and who shared that intimate moment with you and recorded it. Yeah. And it shows to me that if you are going to be able to avoid the consequences of it, you'll say and do things behind closed doors that are just unbecoming. Yeah. And if I'm your friend and I see you do that to your other people that you slept with and you call friends, then I can only imagine that even for me, I might not be safe and I can't trust you.
Yes.
And it's a shame that this came from a hack, but regardless, what it reveals to me personally is like, I could never afford to trust this person with personal stuff that's really close to me or dear to me, because if they think they can get away with it, no one else is gonna find out. They might just share that shit.
Yeah.
And Steven might watch this and disagree strongly, but the evidence is not in your favor. And I can't rely on what you're gonna say. I'm gonna rely on your past and your history. And what I see is another moral failing where it's like, when no one's watching, you're not doing the right thing. You can massage it however you want. It's a shitty thing to share a sex tape, but it's not the worst thing. I'm sorry. That's fucking garbage behavior, okay? It just is. Call it a spade. It's garbage behavior. Don't mush it over because you like your favorite streamer. Don't mush it over because you think he's important politically. It's garbage behavior. And like the reason why he's doing it too, it's so he can pillow talk a fucking 19-year-old. I was like, it's not that hard to bag a teenager. Pause.
Ooh.
That sounds crazy.
Okay,
But you know what I mean?
No, but for real, like if you gotta like share, like what is up? Does this man not have the Riz? Why are you bringing a freaking nuke to a goddamn like e-girl date, bro? Like you can't just naturally connect with a human being without exposing another human being sexually. Like again, I'm sure that he can, but right, it's the idea here. That's why I keep saying it's kind of like dark. It feels like Destiny has a dark side, and I know that's kind of cliche, but it's a dark side where it hurts other people around him, and he doesn't care, like he said, because he doesn't think that people are going to find out, and I do think there's a level of human decency that whether people are going to find out something or not, that you still try to operate in a way that's, you have to have virtues, okay? Virtues like, like courage and temperance and justice, right? If you live in a way with a little bit more virtue in your life and a little bit more morality, then there are some no-nos, regardless of who sees it or not, that you will carry yourself in, because that's just how you want to live your life. And one of his virtues doesn't seem to be is protecting the people around him or keeping the things private within the bubbles, right? I highly value the one-on-one human interaction of like privacy and safe spaces. That's one of the most valuable things I think you can have on this earth. And sharing feelings and emotions with another person, and then those feelings and those emotions stay in that bubble. That is it's so rare. That's the sad thing. It's so rare. But when you can find that, hopefully try to find that, man, it feels good. It feels good to have that human-to-human interaction where what stays between you two stays between you two, and you guys will protect each other's safe space as well. And you'll protect each other's feelings, and you protect each other's emotions. That's a really powerful thing. So it's showing that Destiny is not capable of that, and worse, he'll weaponize it. That's the problem, right? So not only will he just like talk shit or gossip or something like that, or tell people's business or whatever. No, that's the basic. That's the bare bones of how human did. This man will weaponize it and spread it in ways that are just like this. It's heinous. It's garbage, like you said. So that's a very major difference here.
It's not. And you shared like it is such a weird form of like. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. And one thing he said, I think he said something like, that was me a couple years back. I'm on Vyvanse now, which Vyvanse I think is like some kind of drug, ADHD. I don't know. He's like, I'm on Vyvanse now. I'm really just focused on political stuff. I want to stay away from the drama. It's like, I didn't realize they made a, finding God moment for druggies. You know what I'm saying? Like, how some people do a bunch of fuck shit for their whole life, and all of a sudden they go to church once and they're like, I found God. Like it absolves all the bullshit that they've just done. I don't know. It was such a weird way. Like when you're being said that you're doing a bunch of foul shit and you've hurt a bunch of people, and like mentioning the fact that you're on Vyvanse and you're a changed person. It's just like, I don't know. Something about it just seemed off to me. And it just didn't seem like someone who was really repenting or felt some type of way about what they did. It just felt like, it made me think of Sneeko. Sneeko's doing all this like goofy ass red pill shit, and all of a sudden he finds Allah and everything's just forgiven. All the bad messaging, all the people he insulted, never apologized for none of that. None of that. It's just like, I moved on.
See, so, okay. Ooh, I have a lot to say about this one, bro, man. Religion. Oh my God. I was raised around people who were highly religious, okay? And don't take this the wrong way. If you're a part of a religion, if you're Christian, if you just don't take this one the wrong way. Just hear me out though. But like, Have y'all ever seen someone who's like very like super Christianity, you know, like God tells them to do everything. God said this, God said that, right? When people who just change drastically, in my opinion, these people are dodging the most amount of accountability because they have probably done some of the most heinous things, right? And instead of like embracing that who they are and doing self-reflecting and looking inwards and looking at how they're the problem and looking and kind of accepting responsibility, they're usually just kind of like, no, I'm going to join a religion and I'm going to be forgiven, and what is was, and we're going forward. We're moving forward, bros. Without actually ever addressing the person that you are and what you created, right? It's because that's the hard part, but it's easier to kind of like, I don't know, go into a religion or start doing some drugs or go into a faith or go into a belief and just cast your prior self aside. It's easier that way to cast yourself. So when people kind of hit those turnaround moments, I'm always like, what did you do? How many people did you kill, bro? Like, what did you do? It's not easy looking at yourself, especially if the self that you are is not a good person. It's not, to be honest. The layers that go back, that's happening with Destiny, if you ever wanted to, like, I don't know what Destiny thinks, right? But I'm sure there's just layers on layers and mask on mask and probably denial behind denial. It's one of those things where I think there's self-awareness, right? And he might have that, but then there's also being self-aware and just kind of like not caring, to be honest, right? Like a lot of people think that bad people are people who are not aware of it and they need help. But some people are aware of their shticks. They're aware of their powers, their ability to control and manipulate and be evil. They're aware of it. And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna use it. I'm going to be evil, right? Not everyone's going to be a freaking Avenger. There's going to be some people who are going to join the dark side and join the Sith and be like, yeah, I love this evil shit. So yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like people can do to kind of dodge accountability. And then that's all. There's more that I have to say about that, but I think you guys kind of know what I'm saying.
It was just weird. To move on to the career stuff, like, listen, man. How do we say this? Mm-hmm. If you have political aspirations, you just can't behave like this. One of the weirdest things that Steven had was an anti-misogyny arc, right? He felt like there was too much misogyny in his audience and whatever. So he was trying to shape them up, and he was banning people and banning certain kind of messaging. All the while, my guy, you were fucking a bunch of the women that you worked with. You would bring women on stream and then fuck them within a short amount of time. It's like you're reinforcing a lot of the stereotypes that a lot of this misogyny comes from. There's a certain level of hypocrisy there that just makes like the whole thing just seems like such a flamboyant joke.
Yeah, we call that, grifting. When you say something just so people can hear it, but then you do something in the background, if you're not practicing what you preach, then you're being a hypocrite.
And personally, like, that's actually one of the big reasons I don't want to be associated with like the platform is I don't like the idea that we're normalizing, someone bringing in a bunch of small content creators that are women, fucking them, right? And then when that fallout inevitably happens, like, just cast them away. Like, it's a really weird dynamic. And I started getting comments from people like, oh, you this girl in the orbit. And meanwhile, I ain't done shit. But because Steven is just so flagrant with how much he's just gooning it up and he can't keep his dick in his pants and he just wants to be a hedonist, even me being close to that by proximity, I start to, have that reputation. And it's just, I don't want to be associated with that. It's not worth that. I'm happy with the fact that I work with women, and I'm happy with the fact that it's professional, and that needs to be a standard that we set for more people, because I hate the idea that I just show up on screen with a woman and it's automatically sex. But can I really be mad at an audience for thinking that when I hang out with Steven, who literally fucks pretty much everybody he works with? Like, how can I be that mad? Right? So, I don't know. There's a lot about the way that he kind of goes about his work and his personal life that makes it very difficult to want to be close to it. And if you notice, most of the people who are going to choose to stand by him are people who have a lot to lose if they're not with him. I have nothing to gain from being friends with Steven. I've literally had nothing to gain from the moment that we've known each other. Like, don't get me wrong. Steven's done a lot of good things for me personally on the low in terms of behind closed doors and helped me out with certain things. And I'm always going to be appreciative of that. And, in that regards, he's been very stand up for me. And I'm grateful. But professionally, like, outside of that, it's been pretty bad. Like, a lot of people want to stop working with me. A lot of people want to complain about the fact. And I never cared about any of it. Why? Because I just like Steven. I saw him as a friend, so I was cool with it. I didn't care if people wanted to stop talking to me. I didn't care if fans got mad. I didn't care if people questioned. It didn't bother me at all. But when he engages in like actual behavior that I think is reprehensible, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? This is fucking stupid. And his response is, I like to have fun. I don't care. Then it's just got to be a come point where I'm like, all right, then I just got to cut you off because your definition of fun is fucking toxic. And unfortunately, we live in a world where optics matter. How you carry yourself matters. The things you say, the choice of words, the way you carry in your personal life, the way the drama spills out, it matters. And I don't understand how Steven can really say that he wants to be a serious political advocate if he doesn't want to manage his personal life in any way that's serious.
Yeah, there's got to be the separation between church and state. But you don't shit where you eat. And it sounds like this man was taking mega dumps on his dinner, bro, on his plates. Steven, oh man, it was a mixture. It was getting lost in the sauce. There was no, and now he's kind of paying for not being able to keep the professional side with the pleasure side. And then not just that, but just not, again, I keep going back to this. It's this basic human decency. That's all. Regardless how all of this stuff played out. Consent, human decency, respect, privacy. If you can just nail those basics, the ones that teach you back in G.I. Joe days or whatever, like be kind to people, don't lie, things like that, then you can find yourself in a much better place. Even if you want to enjoy, I do think that you can be hedonistic. You can be a gooner, but just be authentic gooner, like just be an authentic gooner. Authentically let people know what they're getting into and then just give them that and then deliver, and then people have that agency, and if things don't work out, they don't work out, but it doesn't have to be behind these masks and broken truths and promises and deceptions and lies, and it's the crash out, the fallout. It doesn't have to be that way. Anyway, we got 1 minute left. I didn't think I was going to watch the whole video, but I tend to watch all of their videos.
Like, why should the DNC involve you in anything that they want when your personal life looks like a fucking train wreck that's going to be bad PR for all of them? Why should anyone want to spend time debating you on these bigger platforms if all you're going to do is bring fucking tarnishing their reputation, right? Yeah. It's like, if you're serious about this, you should make this sacrifice. And if you can't, then I don't think you really care about the political positions that you claim to care about. Not that deeply. Can't. Because you can't put your dick in your pants. So that's how I feel about this. If y'all wanted to hear my thoughts, there you have it. Yeah, I don't think I got much else to say. Like I said, I won't be appearing on those streams anymore. None of that collaboration stuff. I hope the best for Steven. I hope he fixes his shit, and I hope he does right by the people he hurt. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, this is incredibly disappointing shit. That's all I got to say.
The moral of the story, it is a sickness of the highest order. It is easy. I would have paid for him to say that. I was waiting. I wanted to hear it so badly. It sucks, but it kind of is what it is, and that's how the cookie crumbles. So Abba's taking a step away from Destiny. I'm sure Destiny has his Destiny. I imagine being like usually a logical, sensible person when it comes to people. Like he'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I encourage it. He'll probably say that's what you should probably do to protect yourself and to protect the friendship and understand how he feels, and that's his stance and blah blah blah. And Destiny will do the thing where he just basically agrees with that. But I'm sure maybe he'll have some disagreements in other places where it might kind of like challenge his character, or it might not make him look so good. But that's my guess is how Destiny's going to respond, and that's the situation. You guys can let me know at home how you feel. This one became much longer, but to be honest, it was very, very vested in Abba's response because again, Destiny, one of the biggest left political streamers in the entire freaking world, to be honest, like was on the come up of being a very powerful figure, already a powerful figure, like appearing in places like Piers Morgan and everything, and gathering a lot of respect in that political space. And now seeing that one dive, a lot of people complaining like, man, who does the left have now for political streamers? You had XYZ. Was he even somebody that we should be looking up or branched up in the first place? Okay, was he just a chud and we were just kind of had like these classes? Or hey, does it not matter? Okay, is he so important? Is what do you have to say so important that we have to just kind of ignore the transgressions because he needs to keep on propping and pushing up a specific agenda? I don't know. We'll see, but y'all can let me know how y'all feel in the comments below. Paperpoke123 said, Omni, they are taking away my FAFSA. Can you pay for my college now? Yo, scary times out there, right? For those of you guys out there who are kind of getting hit by Trump's executive orders and all these declarations, like every day people are waking up and being like, oh, damn, whoa, pause, bro. Hey, that affects me. Oh, wait, what's happening? Whoa, pause. Is my job at stake? If you're a federal worker right now, everyone's freaking the hell out because they're worried they're going to lose their jobs. Even if you're just like a person who's been working in the government for years and years and you've just been working, you know, you've just been grinding. He coming into the office, he's telling people, hey, we're going to buy you out. There's been a lot that's happening. Okay. I'll tell you guys objectively what's going on. Okay. Don't worry. I ain't trying to push no agendas or agendas. I'm just going to keep you guys informed so that you can stay ahead of the things that's happening as well. But yes, but also I kind of goofed up in one of my prior videos, the concept of tariffs. Okay. So, you know that I have this dyslexia type thing in my brain where I'm saying something and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what it means. And then I'll swap it out in the last minute. Okay. People are like, Omni, do you even know about tariffs? Like, goddamn, yes, I know about tariffs. Okay. I'm a freaking CPA, graduated from prestigious Smith School of Business. Okay. I know what the hell I'm doing. All right. I know what the hell I'm saying. All right. Just sometimes y'all know me, man. I can't even say basic words, correctly. And I mispronounce everything. There's something wrong with me. It could be the tism. I told you. I can say What exactly are tariffs? If you ever wondered why there are imported products that cost more, that's because there are basically tariffs, which are just essentially taxes on imported goods. Let's say you want to buy a toy, okay, from another country and it only costs like $10, but the government adds a 20% tariff, that government being the United States government. That means there will be an extra $2 tax, making the toy cost $12 instead of $10. Tariffs are basically done to make imported goods a little bit more expensive, so people buy things from locally made products, or just to bring in some extra money for the government. This helps the local businesses, but it also means you, as the consumer at home, have to now pay more for foreign goods. Now, here's the part that gets a little bit confusing, okay? The tariff itself is not paid by you, the consumer, okay? You at home, just sitting at home, you're the consumer, okay? You are not paying the tariff directly, okay? The importer themselves are paying the tariff. Back to the example with the toy. A toy from China, it costs like $10, right? The US places a 20% tariff on it, which means, again, you have to pay an extra $2 to the government, the importer themselves. So now the importer's total cost is $12, okay? Stay with me. The toy is $10 and the tariff is $2. So as the importer, right, to make a profit, the importer then raises the price, let's say to maybe $15, okay? That way the importer can make a $3 profit, right? So if it's $15, subtract that from the $12 or subtract that from the $10 and the $2, there's a $3 profit because people have to make a profit when they're operating with trade. So even though the importer is paying the extra $2 for the product, for the toy, you at home are now paying $15 for this because of the tariff. So you're not paying the tariff directly, but the cost is being passed down to you. And that's how tariffs works. And that's why when these tariffs come into place, it's going to raise the prices for, you, the consumer at home, because the tariffs then pass down to you, indirectly, but you don't pay the tariff directly, the importer does. Does that make sense? Is we good? Did I explain it a little bit of a way? Do you guys understand now? My bad for mixing it up last time. Anyway, back to what we were talking about, the federal grants and the loans. Okay, Haley said, hey, I know you already saw my tweet about it earlier, but the one about Trump freezing federal grants and loans, including things like FAFSA, Medicare, Section 8, WIC, SNAP, etc. Oh my God, that's a big move. The White House Budget Office has ordered a pause on all federal grants and loans. That's huge. It's ginormous, okay? A lot of how this country is ran is through both grants and loans, which is the government issuing money to people for specific reasons based on what you just said, including like FAFSAs, okay? People trying to just go to college, okay? Because to make it affordable. So TLDR, President Trump, okay? He directed the Office of Management and Budget, also known as the OMB, to basically temporarily halt the disbursement of federal grants and loans. The pause was basically aimed to review and basically ensure that like federal financial assistance programs are basically aligned with administration policies. This is basically about the elimination of the funding for diversity, equity, inclusion, aka DEI initiatives, and something called the Green New Deal. The actual freeze, though, has a huge potential effect on a lot of different sectors in the government, which includes education, healthcare, infrastructure, and support for like nonprofit orgs. So for example, programs like Medicaid, right? It faced disruptions. Like there was reports or deactivated portals used by healthcare providers to secure payments. That got completely destroyed. Oh, there's also nonprofit orgs, right? That were expressing a lot of concern for the pause because they felt like it could jeopardize like essential services like food assistance, or like domestic violence support, or like we already just said, FAFSA, right? What's happening with the school loans and the students, bro? People are basically applying for college, and now they got the FAFSA, they got the scholars and the grants, and now that might not be coming to them is what's happening. But in response to the directive, okay, a group of nonprofits, they basically filed a lawsuit that challenged the legality of the funding freeze. U.S. District Judge Lauren Ali Khan basically issued a temporary restraining order, effectively blocking the admin's pause on federal financial assistance. This action mandated that the continuation of federal aid and distribution until a further hearing is scheduled for February 3rd, 2025, which is a couple days from now. So TLDR, Trump's pausing, right, of the federal loans and grants has now been paused by the judge, and they are going to be looking at it in a week from now to see what's going to come of that, essentially, since they're essentially being challenged. Razor Marks also said basically whatever the government is doing, okay, so I'll give you guys a quick TLDR of some of the things that have been happening over the past couple of days that you probably need to know. First big, huge one is basically the restructuring of like federal workers. Okay, so if you work for the government, or maybe you're getting government contracting, okay, this impacts you, or if you know somebody, this is a big deal. Almost every single person in the government is being impacted. There have already been plenty of people who are getting fired, like OIGs from all these different offices. People from the DEIs have been laid off. Okay, there are RIFs coming. RIFs are basically kind of like PIPs. Essentially, they're going to be laying people off. And there's apparently like emails that have been leaked. I'm not going to put them here, okay, because I don't know, I'm trying to get in trouble with the government, right? But there are emails that are being leaked that are telling people like, hey, you can be bought out and you can just leave now. And if you just go, we'll buy you out and just get the hell out, and you work until September 25th. It's a lot. I mean, just break it down really quickly. So first you got voluntary resignation, okay? The Trump admin is basically offering financial incentives to employees to resign. Eligible employees who choose to leave by February 6, 2025, which is about a week from now in the future, will receive a lump sum equivalent to 8 months of their salary. This basically aims to reduce the federal workforce. Some people are a little bit concerned. I think it was either March or April though, right? Where they're going to have to come to an agreement on the budget that's going to happen in the future. So even if they say they're going to pay you out, it might not be guaranteed if the government doesn't come together and agree on what the budget is going to be in April. So it's a, it's a very dangerous place to be. And a lot of federal workers are just trying to hold on because they're like, yeah, even though you say you're going to do it, I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I already talked about this, but there's the termination of the DEI programs. The admins basically issue directives to dismantle DEI initiatives within the federal agencies. They've been instructed to basically eliminate DEI-related positions within 60 days, and employees are encouraged to report any efforts to circumvent this directive. TLDR, okay, they're just trying to get rid of DEI, period. Okay, if anything came out of this from the government and it was DEI-related, gone, ejecto, gone. Vamoose. And if you're trying to stop it from happening, then you're getting vamoose too, okay? It's they're chucking it out the window. Another thing that's been pissing a lot of people off is the return to office, okay? They're trying to destroy telework. Basically, federal employees have been ordered to return to in-person work, which ended previous telework arrangements. This policy shift aims to enhance productivity and oversight, but it has led to concerns about flexibility and safety among the workforce. A lot of people are concerned because taking away the telework policy is also something that people feel like is a way to get people to leave, right? Like there are some people who have like moved or changed locations or jobs that was like telework. Like imagine you apply for somewhere, it's like telework. You're like, oh, this is great. Let me go buy a house, here, because I don't have to go drive to DC to go to work. You buy a house, you sit down. Finally, this is great. Psych. Nope. Can't telework. You got to drive an hour and a half every single day, Monday through Friday, to go into the office in DC and get packed like sardines. And people are freaking the hell out. And probably another tactic to get people to, basically resign. That's kind of like the main ones when it comes to federal workers. But a lot of people who are in the government, if you guys don't know, working in the government was something that feels like safe and secure. It's one of those gigs where like once you get in, you're going to get your pension, you just get in, and it's hard to get in, but once you're in, you stay in and you got security now. And now all of that is being just yoinked away. Now a lot of people are very, very terrified and anxious and scared if they're going to keep their jobs. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they're just going to get fired. They just have no idea, and that uncertainty is stressing the hell out of a lot of people in the United States. What else we got? We have the immigration stuff. As you guys know, like they're basically empowering ICE to go around and get as many illegal illegal immigrants as possible. I think the other day they had like over 1,000 people deported. It was like one of the most amount of people that have been deported out of America in like one day. ICE, aka the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, basically they're trying to get at least 1,000 daily arrests. That's what their goal is. They're basically trying to get as many illegals arrested and deported. The administration is also reinstating policies known as Remain in Mexico. It's a program requiring asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their claims are processed. On top of this, they're trying to go back and work more on the southern border, and they're labeling the Mexican drug cartels as terrorist organizations and basically firing back. Also recently, there was an executive order that was signed that prohibits federal support for gender transitions for individuals under 19. I believe this happened just yesterday. The specific order targets federally funded hospitals and universities that provide these services. They've also rescinded protections for trans people in the US military, basically reinstating a ban on transgenders who are serving. On top of that, there has been a freeze on applications for US passports with a non-binary X marker, mandating that passports reflect the holder's sex assigned at birth. There's more. I think there's some executive orders where we've been withdrawing from the World Health Organization. I think we've withdrawn from the Paris Agreement. There's more, but I will give you guys like piecemeal what's happening over time. The next time we talk about it, I'll let you more about what's happening and how it affects you. And if you guys have questions in terms of what is happening, and feel free to, again, throw that into the comments below and I'll help answer them for you so you guys can just be in the know of this new world order that's happening in the United States. But all right, guys, all I have for today's video. I'm gonna drop another one tomorrow. I don't know if it's gonna be a single subject or multiple subject, but like we still got to talk about that. Somebody said we got to talk about like a situation with a Lyft driver who was picking up like a 500, 600 pound woman. Again, like I don't know about it, so I can't wait to read that with you guys. That one's wild. I still want to look into the whole Blake Lively and situation that's going on with what is that guy's name? Justin Baldoni, or Baldoni, is that his name? But I kind of want to look into that stuff that's happening in the FGC where they're basically saying that women don't belong in fighting game like communities. I'm like, oh bro, what is going on? These gooners don't want women in their community. That's kind of gay, bro. And there's more. Okay, so I'm gonna try to flood your inbox a little bit more with either one-offs. Not every video is going to be a big chunky wungy, but also you'll just get some one-offs that I'm going to be dropping as much as possible. Okay, that's what's going to be happening. So stay tuned. Okay, hit the notification bell and just just peep when we watch. All right, I love y'all. I catch y'all later, man. Stay safe in them streets because these streets are not safe. I'll keep you posted on what's happening in life, and I love y'all. All right, take it easy, peace.